So GCSTOP stands for the Guilford County Solution to the Opioid Problem, and we're an agency right here in town housed through UNCG and the Department of Social Work, and we also work alongside really closely with Guilford County EMS. They're sort of our other half. And essentially we're a harm reduction agency, so we work with people in Guilford County who are at risk of overdose from opioids or who have overdosed from opioids, essentially people who inject drugs, and we get them connected to resources. And some of that is stuff that we have, like safe injection supplies, new syringes, tourniquets, cottons, alcohol wipes, and then also Naloxone. That's really one of the biggest things that we do is we distribute Naloxone, which is the opioid overdose reversal medication. And so as long as somebody has that and it's used on them, if they're experiencing an overdose, they will almost always come right back out of it. And so we're just trying to help, reduce rates of overdose death in our county. Early on in my time in the Department of Social Work and taking just even the Intro to Social Work class, I remember we had to write a paper about why we wanted to be social workers. And I guess I'd had some personal experience that kind of led me to GCSTOP in the first place. And I could just really see how that for me was going to be a way that I could try to create some change in my community. And there's a part of social work where we do therapy and work with people on the ground, which is kind of like the micro level of social work. And then the macro level is policy work and advocacy and stuff like that can sometimes go by the wayside. But in considering a program like GCSTOP, just a few years ago, all the stuff that we do wasn't legal. And so I think that it really awakened a huge passion for me in seeing how there's this huge policy effort that needs to change in order to make programs like GCSTOP more accessible and legal in places where they're not legal yet. So my internship and field placement with GCSTOP was just really kind of the biggest piece of my last year at UNCG. And Professor Mike Thull was somebody who I had worked with early on in helping get that internship. He's the field director here at UNCG for the Department of Social Work. And working with him and with Professor Chase Holloman, those two really just supported me through that experience and helped me kind of take all of the hands-on learning that I was doing and then apply all this theory that we had done in the classroom. And I remember on the very first day, we were loading up the work truck at 7:38 in the morning, and I asked him, what do I need to know? What do I need to do? And he said, there's no real good advice to give you or to give anybody on the first day other than to treat people with compassion and kindness. And that was really one of the biggest lessons I could have ever gotten anywhere. But especially in that work, where we're working with folks who are facing a lot of challenges and who aren't treated kindly by a lot of people on their day-to-day basis and are, struggling with not having their most basic needs met, But that experience really taught me so much about what it means to be working with individuals and small groups, which is within social work, that's a huge part of what we're doing, is we're kind of doing one-on-one or really small group settings where we're helping people and helping connect them to resources and helping them overcome the challenges that they're facing and helping them kind of circumvent, oppressive circumstances. And so that internship was just, it was such a big learning experience where I was able to take on a lot of different roles within the agency and just learn so much. I think my time at UNCG gave me a really good hands-on experience with community-based work and understanding how important it is to bring in people with lived experience and reaching out into communities that don't often get a voice at the table, because, we talk a lot about how, people who don't have a voice or communities that don't have a voice. And the reality is everybody has a voice. We're just not always willing to listen to them. And I think a lot of my classes at UNCG really emphasized how important it is to be there to hear what people have to say, especially when they aren't really given that chance. And I think that stepping into this program for addiction policy, there are a lot of people in this country who are struggling with addiction and who've been affected by the opioid epidemic or by, harsh and improper drug laws long before that. And so I think it's important that we elevate those voices, and my time at UNCG and with GCSTOP has really prepared me for that. And I think that going into graduate school, that's a huge piece of it. I actually had talked to some folks during the graduate application process at these schools, and they were saying, as I told them a little bit about my background, they were like, this is great. This is the kind of stuff that we have folks do in their first semester or two as they're taking our graduate level research courses. So I think that just gave me a really strong grounding.